Okay, well, it's time to talk about the greenhouse effect and the blanket analogy. So, yeah, the fact that CO2 acts as a greenhouse or a blanket is so widely accepted in our society. I was listening to a podcast yesterday by Seth Godin. The title of the podcast was Breathe, and it's part of his Akimbo series. Seth is great. Love that guy. So appreciative of him. Go listen to him. Stop this podcast right now. Go watch his videos, and then come back and we'll talk. But he was just using this analogy of a blanket in a greenhouse like it was just accepted truth or something. And I do think that these two analogies are useful to communicate something, but it might be a matter of degree, and then also as analogies break down. I think it's informative where these analogies break down. And I think where they break down initially is that the CO2 is not a hard barrier. Your blanket is a hard barrier, and a greenhouse is also a hard barrier. What does that barrier do? So the way a blanket keeps you hot is by keeping the air around your body that is in between your body and the blanket from mixing with the cooler air outside of the blanket. So it stops convection. Now there are other things too with radiation and conduction and whatnot, but mainly it stops convection. So I mean, is that really what CO2 does? Stops convection? The CO2 in the atmosphere that's up there that's warmer isn't mixing with the cooler air around it? I'm pretty sure that's not true. The other thing about that hard barrier, and this might apply more to the greenhouse side of things, is that hot air rises. So is that CO2 heats up, isn't it just going to rise? And gravity's going to hold it down, but it's going to rise and slowly lose energy as it transfers the energy that it has to the cooler molecules around it. So anyhow, plus there's just other heat losses, plus as it rises, there's more potential energy and maybe less kinetic energy or something. So this seems a little more complex than just a blanket analogy, huh? Okay, so anyhow, and as far as the greenhouse goes, the physical greenhouse is also a hard barrier. So as the hot air rises, it's not allowed to escape. So I'm kind of assuming that it's holding heat in, but that heat is convecting, or transferring heat, whatever. There's convection going on within the greenhouse, what I'm trying to say. So I really don't know how good those analogies are, other than on a very, very simple level. So anyhow, maybe we need some physicists or atmospheric scientists or something to weigh in on this, but it seems to me like that analogy is fairly misleading. And we'll get to some more of this and maybe how it applies even more in the succeeding videos, when we talk about how much CO2 can heat it can hold and all this kind of stuff. So anyhow, interesting stuff ahead, but I do think that the blanket analogy and the greenhouse analogy are very, 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 very flawed. They're good ideas, and I think they do communicate something, which is good, but I think there's problems with the extent to which the truth that they're conveying should be applied. And I guess what I mean by that is it's almost to this extreme. What's the difference between a thick blanket and a thin blanket, or a blanket farther away from your body or closer to your body? I don't know. There's different variables there that really are not being considered. So anyhow, go watch Seth Godin. He's awesome. Tell him thanks. See ya.